All right, let's tackle one of the biggest hurdles for any test taker, the IELTS reading test. You know, it feels like a race against the clock. But what if I told you there's a system, a way to turn all that pressure into a top-notch performance? Let's start by looking at exactly what you're up against.
First, the sheer volume. You're going to be facing 40 questions. That's a lot, especially when you consider the complex topics and all the different question styles they're going to throw at you. And for all 40 of those questions, you have just 60 minutes. That breaks down to only a minute and a half per question, and that's not even counting the time you need to actually read the passages. This right here, this is the core challenge.
But there is a system to manage this time and walk into any passage with total confidence. The secret isn't just about reading faster, it's about reading smarter.
You know, success here really begins with a strategic plan. And just dividing your 60 minutes into 3 equal 20-minute chunks, well, that's not going to cut it. The test is designed to get harder as you go, so your time plan needs to be way smarter than that.
So here's the game plan. You want to aim for about 15 to 18 minutes on that first, easier section. Then spend a little more, say 18 to 20 minutes on the second one. And for that final, most difficult passage, you're going to give yourself the biggest chunk of time, 20 to 25 minutes. See that little slice left over? That gives you a crucial 5-minute buffer at the end, a safety net to go back and check your work.
Okay, so we've got our time map. Now what we need is a reliable routine. This is your step-by-step process that you're going to apply to every single passage you see. The goal is to make it a consistent, efficient habit.
And here is that 6-step system. First, and please don't ever skip this, read the instructions. Things like word limits can cost you easy points. Second, skim the passage for just 2 to 3 minutes to get the main gist. Third, read the questions and underline the keywords. Fourth, scan the text, but not for the exact words. You're looking for those keywords and their synonyms. Fifth, once you've found the right area, read it carefully and make your decision. And hey, if you're stuck, just mark it and move on. Finally, transfer your answers and use any leftover time to go back to those tricky questions you marked.
Now that we have our general routine down, let's zoom in on a question type that trips up so many people. True, false, or not given. It looks simple on the surface, but oh boy, the details are everything.
So what is this question really testing? It's not just about finding a few facts. It's about precision. It's testing your ability to see if the statement in the question perfectly matches the text, contradicts it, or simply isn't mentioned at all.
The logic is pretty straightforward. If the passage confirms what the statement says, it's true. If the passage says the exact opposite, directly contradicting it, the answer is false. But here's the key part. If you can't find the information to either prove or disprove it, the answer is not given. You can't assume anything that isn't explicitly written down.
You have to remember, the IELTS test is clever. It actually sets little traps or distractors that are designed to catch you if you're not paying attention. But once you know what to look for, you can sidestep them pretty easily. Let's look at the biggest one. This is what I call the exact word trap. If you're only scanning the text for the exact words you saw in the question, you're probably going to miss the answer. The whole point is to test your vocabulary by using paraphrasing and synonyms. For instance, the passage might say the word reduce, but the question uses the word diminish. The text might talk about retaining something, while the question asks if it can hold it. Or a barrier in the reading becomes an obstacle in the question. Training your brain to spot these connections is absolutely vital.
Okay, that's enough theory for now. Let's actually see how this all comes together in practice. We're going to apply our 6-step routine and all our knowledge of true, false, not given to a real example about something called green roofs.
All right, here's our sample question. Now notice the key word here. It claims green roofs eliminate the need for air conditioning. That is a very strong, absolute claim. Now our job is to go find the evidence in the text.
So, following our routine, we scan for keywords like temperatures or cooling, and boom, we find this sentence. The passage says green roofs help reduce peak summer temperatures and lower cooling costs. The whole answer hinges on the difference between the words reduce and eliminate. The passage clearly says that green roofs help, but it directly contradicts the absolute claim that they eliminate the need for air conditioning entirely. Because of that contradiction, the answer has to be false.
And finally, let's talk about your pre-test checklist. Before you put your pencil down for good, quickly running through these final actions can save you from some really simple, totally avoidable errors.
Just run through this final check. Ask yourself,
Have I followed the word limit? Did I use the exact words from the passage when I was supposed to? Did I avoid adding any of my own outside information? And did I transfer every single answer carefully? These basic checks can make a huge difference to your final score.
So there you have it, a strategic way to manage your time, a core routine for every single passage, and the tools you need to break down even the trickiest questions. That pressure from the clock, it doesn't have to be your enemy. With this system, it can actually be the thing that helps you deliver a focused, efficient, and high-scoring performance.